Hey guys, welcome to the Shot Clock. Dave Rubin, Ben Mankiewicz, and it is Throwback Thursday, and we're going to talk about a guy that should have been, that was on his way, that could have been a major superstar. Ended up being like I'm going to guess like a 5-time All-Star. What do you think? I'm just going off the top of my head. Maybe a 5-timer?
I'll take the over. I'll take the more than 5.
All right, well, yeah. Jason Rubin's going to check on that for us. We are talking about Tracy McGrady, who, as we were doing some research here before we jump into it, we were trying to figure out what his last team was, because those last 2 years or so, he bounced around, and apparently we found out it was the Spurs in what?
Yeah, because Jason, our producer Jason Rubin, says that his last team was the Hawks, looking at ProBasketballReference.com, and they're not going to be wrong, but I know I saw him, and you did too. We were like, no, I saw him in a Spurs uniform.
Yeah.
He played for the Spurs. And what I'd forgotten, that he signed with the Spurs right before the 2013 playoffs. He played in 6 playoff games for the Spurs, 6 games in the NBA, did not score. 0 for 4 from 2, 0 for 3 from 3, 0 for 7. I think he had like 8 boards and 7 rebounds in 6 playoff games for the Spurs, but no regular season games.
The fact that he had 7 assists and no points is very reverse of everything we've come to know about Mr. Tracy McGrady. Anyway, so we are talking about Tracy McGrady, and this is one of, we're going to show you a clip here, of one of his career highlights. Unfortunately, this didn't happen in the playoffs because he didn't have much success in the playoffs. Let's take a look.
Play correct out of the timeout, and Popovich obviously upset with Manu.
Here's McGrady for 3. The Spurs now lead by 7. Rockets looking for a quick shot. Bowen is all over McGrady. Foul is picked up. It's a potential 4-point play. Tracy McGrady from downtown to 6. And this a moment ago.
Well, they almost didn't get the ball in, and now you've got the best defender.
Gets it in. Kevin Brown lost it. Here comes McGrady. No timeouts remaining. McGrady for the win. Yeah!
I mean, that basically is as good as it gets. The only thing I can think of even close to that, I can think of 2 things. Of course, the Reggie Miller, of course, in the playoffs.
8 points in 9 seconds.
I think that was 95. And then the other one that I can think of, do you remember Rodney Rogers did something like this when he was with Denver? Middle of the season. It's a totally forgettable game.
No,
I don't even know who they were playing, but did one of these kind of 4 3-pointer, 20-second kind of things. But that for the game winner, too, pretty awesome.
There's so many things I love about that clip. First of all, I believe the referee's whistle very clearly blows on Tim Duncan on the 4-point play before any contact is made. Like McGrady does the up fake, Duncan, who'd switched off after the most flagrant moving screen in the history of the world from Yao Ming.
Yeah. And
then Duncan goes up, and the referee blows his whistle because he sees he's about to run into him. And then he does run into him, and McGrady hit that bucket. It just, so it ends up with 13 points in 35 seconds to win a game. But, and therein essentially lies the difference between Tracy McGrady and Reggie Miller. Tracy McGrady, a much better scorer, and his great moment is, in the middle of February or whatever it was against.
Tracy McGrady is also a 7-time NBA All-Star.
Okay.
And on April 16, 2013, just before their season finale, the Spurs signed McGrady, and he played in Game 4 against the Los Angeles Lakers the first round of the 2013 NBA playoffs.
So he had 13 points. They were down 10 in that game with about a minute to play.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he scored the full last the 13 points there on 4 buckets and a free throw.
But his greatest playoff moment ended up being a first-round loss. So that kind of sums up his whole career, actually.
So this is our Throwback Thursday, but if you want to take a look at the full, well, the great thing is that if you go on YouTube and you search Tracy McGrady 13 points in 35 seconds, there's a 7-minute video of it, right? So that's funny all by itself. And then if you watch that video, there's a couple of great things in there. First of all, you just get to see Parker, Duncan, and Ginobili, obviously much younger. Ginobili, a couple things. One, has hair. You can see the bald spot starting, but he has hair. He looks so young. Parker and Duncan basically look the same.
Yeah.
But Ginobili looks much younger. And at one point in this game, when the Spurs still have a big lead, the Spurs screwed up their play, either committed an offensive foul, turned the ball over, did something. And it was clearly Ginobili's fault. And Duncan and Parker go what looks to be complaining about it to Pop.
Yeah.
Who then takes Ginobili out of the game and scolds the crap out of him.
So in retrospect, that could actually be the most interesting part of the clip because that shows you everything that we've seen since.
Like the sort of that you get that this guy at one point, Ginobili was messing up, and he was like, sit down, and Ginobili's like, you see his hands, Pop is standing over him, you can't even see Ginobili, you just see his hands like desperately trying to explain to Pop what was going on, but he's getting yelled at in the middle of the game.
I mean, that's pretty good when we do a Throwback Thursday and it's still relevant to everything
It's still
that's happening in the league right
Still
now.
going to be relevant in 2015. So anyway, yeah, so the one thing I was looking at Tracy McGrady, and this is an unfortunate fact for, I would say. First of all, we thought it was an appropriate Throwback Thursday for McGrady because there's a story out now.
Yeah.
He says he's better than half the league. He wants to come back and play. A couple of interesting, he's only 35 years old. I mean, how is that guy not 40? But he isn't. He's 35, obviously came right from high school. But the other thing is that the end of his career, the years with the Pistons and the Hawks, everything that sort of slowed his scoring down, that's a guy who should average 20 points a game. And he dipped under. He's at 19.6. He should. There should be a 2 in points per game for Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, that's actually nuts because he had some years where it was like around 28. So
he was a monster scorer. But
you want him to come back for like 10 games, somehow score 25 a game just to get that thing.
It's what it should be. That's how it. That would be the righteous. That would be the righteous thing.
Hey, listen, McGrady, if Kobe can do it, I think you can do it. So come back for 10, make Ben happy, and there you go.